Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe. It's down there, folks. It really does help, you know. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to talk today about that murdering individual whose name is in all the papers today, Calocane. VALDO CALOCANE. Yeah, he's the paranoid schizophrenic who murdered the two 19-year-old students, beautiful-looking young people, murdered both of them, stabbed them to death, and then he went on to murder a 65-year-old caretaker who was going to retire, but he didn't because he was stabbed to death by VALDO CALOCANE. Yeah, and then CALOCANE went and stole a van. And what did he do? He drove it off down the road, aimed at a group of people on the pavement and drove at them. And it was subsequently found by the courts to be unfit to plead due to diminished responsibility, and was sentenced to be held indefinitely at a hospital for the criminally insane. And he's currently sentenced under Section 37 of the Mental Health Act. Now, that requires that he be held in a secure institution until such a time as the doctors, the psychiatrists, decide that he is safe to return to the community. Return to the community. And whilst he's sentenced under Section 37 of the Mental Health Act, he is entitled to receive certain benefits. I think it amounts to about £375 a month that is given to him for his disposal whilst he's currently in Ashworth. That's for the criminally insane. Used to be called Park Lane when I was there, and I was there. And I do know what goes on. I know exactly what happens. I know how these psychological assessments are made. I believe there was 5 independent psychiatrists that assessed VALDO CALOCANE, and all of them came to the same conclusion, that he was a paranoid schizophrenic, and diminished responsibility made it impossible for him to enter a plea because he is effectively insane. He could, by the courts, have been sentenced under Section 45 of the Mental Health Act, which would have required that he be held under the terms in the hospital for the criminally insane, but subject to a prison sentence at the same time as being held under section of the Mental Health Act that requires him to be incarcerated to be released only on completion of his prison sentence and when he is fit to be returned to the community. In other words, let's say that the court said you're going to be sentenced under Section 45, you will go to an institution for the criminally insane, and you will remain there for a minimum period of, say, 30, 40 years as a punishment, and on top of that, you cannot be released at the end of your sentence unless it is adjudged by psychiatrists that you are safe to be returned to the community. That sentence would have resolved the problems that we've got now, because the case is being appealed and the sentence is being appealed because it doesn't seem to be severe enough. And the parents of these two beautiful young people that were killed, these 19-year-old students, are disgusted with the system for doing that. And VALDO CALOCANE is currently incarcerated. Well, he's held within Ashworth Hospital. Now, I've worked at Ashworth Hospital. They all have separate rooms. They've all got their own separate rooms. They have little get-togethers during the week. They're not locked behind the doors. and generally try to rehabilitate them and get them back to health. But the problem is, this VALDO CALOCANE, you rehabilitate that man, he could be out in 10 years, could be out in 7 years, murdered 3 people, attempted to murder a load of other people. You've got to say to yourself, is justice being served by a sentence like that under Section 37, or should it have been under Section 45? That's the question at the moment. Now, listen, I used to run the hospital ward at Strangeways, where all inmates who were held from the courts for psychiatric reports were located in Strangeways on that hospital ward. And as the hospital officer in charge of the ward, I would make notes and pass them to obviously, to the psychiatrist and say, I've observed this, what I'd observed. And the psychiatrists, of course, they're the professionals. I mean, I was just a hospital officer. But if I noticed matters that were pertaining to their behaviour, I would certainly make notes and advise the psychiatrists of my observations. The thing is, and now listen, I'm not saying that this has happened, but all I'm saying is that this is what did happen numerous times in my experience whilst I was working at Strangeways as a hospital officer. People who came from courts, remanded in custody for psychiatric reports, as indeed VALDO CALOCANE would have been. The solicitors the psychiatrists ask to see the notes, and of course the notes that they see contain the observations of the other psychiatrists. Now, in this instance of VALDO CALOCANE, all five, all five of the psychiatrists arrived at the same conclusion. The question's got to be asked, did they see each other's notes? I don't know. It's mere supposition on my part. I'm not saying that they have deliberately copied each other's work. I don't know. It would be terribly sad to think that that had happened. But let me tell you this. Whilst I was at Strangeways, it did happen. Anyway, he's going to go up. They're going to reevaluate the sentences, and I believe he will get sentenced under Section 45 instead of Section 37, and that he will be given a minimum term of imprisonment. And when you're under Section 45, you are no longer entitled to claim benefits as he would be under Section 37. So there's a big difference, yeah. Ashworth Hospital, I worked there. It was a unit designed, well, the whole thing was designed to actually rehabilitate and correct the problems through medication and through group therapy sessions, etc., with those serving terms inside that institution for the criminally insane, to prepare them and rehabilitate them to go back into society. And I feel quite certain that the parents of the two 19-year-old students wouldn't really want to see VALDO CALOCANE back on the streets after 10 years because they'll never see their 19-year-old children again. And that's an absolute disgrace. Anyway, that's my little rant for today. I had to apologise to all those who were inadvertently included in my poetry yesterday, as I forgot to ring the song dinger. Well, there we are. I'm ringing it now. But I'm going to sing to you today. It's not singing, is it? It's a kind of water torture involving words. This is a song. I'm going to get this right, you see. This is a song by George Formby. I like George Formby. I'm obviously of a certain era, because people will be watching this thinking, George Formby, who the bloody hell's that? Has he been on the X Factor? Well, he probably wouldn't get on these days, would he? Because he had one of them, turned out nice again, didn't it? One of them kind of silly voices, yeah? He was actually from Wigan. He started out when he was going to be a jockey, you know. But I think he grew a little bit too big for that. And his father was a turn on the vaudeville circuit. So George Formby followed his father's footsteps. This is a song that I quite like. He was known for his innuendo, his double entendres, yeah? That was George Formby, considered to be quite a cheeky chap by the standards of the 1940s. And this is his song, My Grandad's Flannelette Nightshirt. And I'll try to elaborate, but stress the parts where he's making some suggestive comments. Here we go. In his little song. Now in our family we've got an heirloom. They handed it to me a year ago. It's been in our possession since Grandad was a lad. I'll tell you what it is, and then you'll know. It's me Grandad's flannelette nightshirt. In it I was christened one day. Down at the church they were in a whirl. No one seemed to know if I were boy or girl. They'd had one or two, and either in a mess. But it's all right, the preacher curt. I've been and had a quiz. I found out what it is. It's his Grandad's flannelette shirt, lordy, lordy. His Grandad's flannelette shirt. In me Grandad's flannelette nightshirt. I got married one day while on the train. My bride gave a shout. "Ee, what is that you're pulling out?" I said, "It's old-fashioned and it's threaded and torn, but I brought it with me honeymooning girt." When she said, "What is it, dear?" I whispered in her ear, "It's me Grandad's flannelette shirt, lordy, lordy, my Grandad's flannelette shirt." The other day I got an invitation to go and join a nudist colony, and as the life is healthy and in the open air, I trotted off as happy as can be. With me Grandad's flannelette nightshirt, I walked up to the door. Someone said, "Now don't make a fuss, just take off your clothes and you'll be like us." I was bashful, so I stayed by myself. For the girls, I didn't want to flirt, but when I was asleep, they came and had a peek at me Grandad's flannelette shirt, lordy, lordy, my Grandad's flannelette shirt. There we are. That was George Formby's song, My Grandad's Flannelette Nightshirt. He sang it a bit better than I did, but anyway, it turned out nice again, didn't it? Imagine gobbling like that in public, eh? Anyway, that's it. Tales from the Jails, folks. Do like and subscribe. It does help.